Hello everybody, Jonathan Pullett here with West Coast Weather. Today is January 31st, and you guys are going to want to stick around for this video because we got a lot to talk about and a lot of fun weather coming up, a lot of exciting weather, and a lot of details we need to work out over the next few days. We got snow, we got wind, we got rain today, we got frigid temperatures next week. We got the whole smorgasbord of weather coming up. So first we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. We got Arctic trough full of cold air spilling out over the Pacific Ocean off the British Columbia coastline, southeast Alaska coastline. Here's a low pressure system moving within all the cold air cumulus clouds just off of Haida Gwaii. This will move down along the coast over the next couple days, and this will probably bring us our best snow chances later Sunday evening into Monday, which it'll start pushing some moisture into the very cold air mass that'll be over the region. But first, we also have this other low pressure system that's going to be ahead of a very strong cold front that you can see on satellite right here. This will bring a surge of westerly winds down the Strait of Juan de Fuca in the Whidbey Island and the Island County area with some gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour, potentially sustained winds over 40 miles per hour. Some isolated, potentially scattered power outage will be possible, unfortunately, before the cold air really comes in. Wind chills are likely to be in the 20s for some areas. Then widespread snow showers are then going to be possible on Saturday with the potential for snow, pellet snow, even a very isolated chance of some thunder snow, as well as there's going to be some instability in the atmosphere with all the very frigid air moving over the region. And then more widespread snow potentially later on Sunday into Monday. There's also, during that time, there's going to be a potential for a significant snow event for the Vancouver metro area, with some models showing even a couple feet of snow in a relatively short time period. So let's dive into the details right now. Looking at the European model, this is fresh off the press from this morning, a couple hours ago. You can see this deep trough of Arctic air starting to spill out over the water, gliding down the coastline. Then it opens up right off the Pacific Northwest Sunday evening. This is when the best snow chances are going to start up. This is when that low pressure reaches its max strength for the first wave. However, if we play this out, though, the trough opens up again and reaches even stronger heights as we go into Tuesday. But this is going to be farther offshore, so just how close to the shoreline this trough opens up a second time will really depend if we continue snow chances all the way through Tuesday and potentially in the Wednesday and later next week. And you can see this play out. You can see maybe even another trough trying to come down and merge with our main trough later on Thursday and Friday. This will keep Arctic air into the region and potential for more systems even after that. So lots of exciting weather to talk about right now. Let's go to the looking at 850 millibar temperature anomaly. This is a good way of looking at how cold an air mass is. This is basically showing at about 5,000 feet in the atmosphere how cold or how warm the temperature is compared to the normal. You can see, look at these maxed out temperatures. This is beyond the scale down here, with some of these temperatures up well below 40 degrees below average up there. So a very cold, dense Arctic air mass. And you can see this low pressure system spinning right here, right off the coastline. This will keep precipitation trying to move over the area into the very cold air mass as we go into Monday and Tuesday, and potentially even after that as well. Cold and chilly weather continues all the way into the following week, potentially, with this European model was showing. This is now looking at the 6-hour precipitation type in inches, sea level pressure in millibars as well. Blues are snow, greens are rain, pinks are freezing rain. So you can see this low pressure system right now moving into the region. This is going to bring a relatively strong pressure gradient to parts of western Washington, which will cause that westerly surge of cold air and wind down the Strait of Juan de Fuca. There's going to be a lot of cold air and some instability behind this, so this will help drag down some of the stronger winds aloft later tonight. This is going to start around for Whidbey Island around 6 to 7 p.m. tonight, and I'll go into more details here in a couple of minutes, so make sure to stay and watch along. So if we play this out, rain mostly continues all the way through tonight, but look at Saturday morning. We're starting to see some of those blues starting to mix in. There's also going to be a pretty powerful atmospheric river moving into the central and northern California, likely the strongest of the winter season. It's going to dump feet of snow in the mountains, even potentially feet of rain to some of the Sierra Nevadas over the next couple days, because there's a lot of moisture with this. This is you get this cold air clashing into this very moist air mass. And as the cold air starts dropping down to California later this week, look at these very intense snowfall rates. It will likely be 2, 3, 4 inch per hour snowfall rates in the Sierra Nevada. It's very beneficial, but there's likely to be some potential for some mudslides, landslides, and some flooding as well, because there's going to be a lot of rain. I'll go into more specifics here in a moment. But if we zoom this in and play this out for the Pacific Northwest, you can see snow showers and convergence zone activity in different places. We're not going to be able to really hammer down the specific locations of some of these snow showers here on Sunday and Sunday and Saturday. But they're going to be around. You could potentially get some quick snow accumulations. Temperatures are going to be in the about mid to upper 30s, so it's not going to stick very easily. But some of these snow showers might be relatively heavy. So you can see some green moving in here, but the temperatures are going to be pretty dang close to ideal for snow, some heavy wet snow. So I doubt there's going to be much rain mixing in. There's also going to likely be snow pellets, also known as grapple, that will be mixing in as well. Those are those little fluffy balls that they're kind of like soft hail. They're kind of crunchy. So you'll get some of that in those convective showers, and that will continue all the way through Saturday, Sunday. Look at this. There's even the European model is showing a very widespread heavy snow band right over downtown Vancouver, all the way from maybe Abbotsford all the way out to the Vancouver International Airport. This is going to have the potential to drop very impactful snow amounts, potentially up towards a foot or more of snow later on Sunday. I'll show you here in the moment. Some malls even show up towards 2 feet of snow. It's kind of ridiculous. Some of these malls are showing, but there's going to be some convergence, and I'll show you here right now. So this is looking at winds at about 850 millibars. That's 5,000 feet about. That's on the temperature anomaly map we're also looking at. Look at how you get these winds wrapping around the Olympic Mountains, and they collide right over the Vancouver area. This will lead to a potentially intense convergence zone snow band that could drop a couple of feet of snow if things line up correctly. There have been snow events like this before, where you get the Arctic outflow winds colliding with these warmer, moist southwesterly winds. So it's not unheard of, and models are really starting to lock in on this potential solution. Exactly who's going to get the highest amounts is still in question, but anywhere in and around the Vancouver metro area is going to have the potential for some very heavy snowfall amounts. Now zooming back out, here's looking at sea level pressure. We can see this dense Arctic air highlighted by the high pressure. This is what we call Arctic high pressure. Cold Arctic air is very dense and heavy, which raises the pressure at the surface. So you can see that's where all our very dense cold air mass is. The higher the pressure, the denser the air is. And that's where you get sinking air as well. But this cold air moving over and off the BC coastline back into Oregon creates cyclogenesis and a low pressure system to form right along the coastline over the relatively warm waters of the ocean. It's kind of a very cool process, and it allows us to be able to actually get these snow events on the west side of the Cascades. And these low pressure systems that form like the one that will be forming here later on Sunday, which we saw in the satellite imagery up towards Haida Gwaii, is going to allow for moisture to float into the Puget Sound. Just how much moisture there's going to be is still in question. So, and there's a lot, these events can have a lot of surprises. So, for example, in 2019, a lot of the forecasts only showed a couple inches of snow for a lot of the area. Then some areas happen to get up towards a foot of snow. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. Every single event is completely different than another one. But there is potential for some sneaky, heavier snow amounts, which models sometimes have a hard time picking up. Now looking at zooming in on things, this is looking at composite reflectivity and precipitation type. This is basically what the HRRR model thinks that the radar is going to potentially look like. And blues are snow, pinks are freezing rain, and green and yellows and stuff are rain and heavier precipitation. So you can see a low pressure system moving into the area right now, bringing some relatively heavy rain, especially to some of the mountains. Higher elevations of the mountains are going to be getting some pretty heavy snowfall as well. It should be above past level right now, but it's going to quickly drop to and below past level later tonight. Then a convergence zone, you can see this right here, this kind of like bow-shaped yellow band right here. That's the westerly surge of westerly winds coming down the straight one. If you can hitting those southerly winds, you get convergence, and then you get the air that get pushed up, condensates, and then turns into clouds and precipitation. So you get that convergence zone will continue and potentially dump some very heavy localized snows in the mountains. Also potential for the foothills and even around the Everett area. There's potential for a couple inches of snow if it sets upright for some of the Everett area as well. But you can see these snow showers really start to increase as we go through Saturday morning. And now we're getting almost full snow showers. Almost all of them are all snow. Wherever these set up, the models have a very difficult time with events like this because these showers can form anywhere and they're very localized features. So this is going to be the day to look at radar and be able to analyze dark clouds moving in and stuff like that to see if these are basically almost going to be snow squalls. There might even be some gusty winds with them as well. So be careful if you're driving around Saturday and the Sunday, because these snow showers will quickly reduce visibility and will cause for some hazardous driving conditions. So slow down, increase the distance between you and the next vehicle, and make sure that you have higher situational awareness during this. But this latest HRRR model has a very, as we go through Saturday night and the Sunday morning, it's got very widespread snow showers. This could start dumping a couple inches of snow in spots. And the temperatures are going to be potentially below freezing by this point as well, likely below freezing at this point. So snow would start sticking rather easily. So we'll just have to see how this happens. The HRRR can sometimes overdo these shower events because it shows too many showers than there actually are. But there's going to be a lot of moisture and cold air aloft, very unstable air. So I'm not going to be surprised if it shows up similar to what the HRRR is showing, at least this time around, because there's going to be a lot of instability, a lot of convection, a lot of rising air. So that could lead to a lot of showers forming. I would also like to mention that there is a very isolated potential for some thunder snow pellets and that sort of thing. The greatest chances in Northwest Washington and Sunday afternoon when you get the convergence zone potential that could also enhance some of the snow totals for the Vancouver metro areas. You get these very strong bands of snowfall with potential for some thunder snow as well. This could even lead to chances all the way down to the Port Angeles area as well, the lower chances down there. Just wanted to say that potential as well. Now looking at closer on just Western Washington, here we're looking at the westerly surge of wind later this evening. So if we look at the wind, this is 10-meter wind gusts and miles per hour right now. Look at this. Here comes the surge of westerly. Look at that. It comes blasting in right now. Let me play this back to the main model run. Look at this. Gusts up towards 60 miles per hour on the HRRR model here. And you can see how it really starts to plow through the area right about 5, 6, 7 o'clock is when it really starts crashing. It has strongest winds about 7 to 8 o'clock. Winds will quickly die down by midnight, though, and should be only blustery. But if we look at the apparent temperature, this feels like a temperature of wind chills. Look at this. You can actually watch it plow in the wind chills and that cold air coming in. Look at that. Wind chills go from the 40, the low to middle 40s down into the 20s, potentially even the middle 20s by late tonight. So if you're out and about late tonight, it is going to be very cold out there. It's not going to feel nice at all. And those very chilly temperatures continue all the way through Saturday, potentially. Look at this. There's even low 20s potentially on Sunday with the snow showers moving in, potentially bringing in gusty winds from aloft. So it's going to be very cold the next couple days, and it'll get even colder actual temperatures later next week. Now looking at the HRDPS, this is the high resolution Canadian model. I tend to notice that this model does better than some of the other models. If we look at the same thing, gusty southerly winds ahead of the cold front right now as I'm recording this video, but look at this, plows through even some gusts over 55 miles per hour potentially. These westerly winds, wind events can be kind of unpredictable. Sometimes they're usually stronger or weaker than what models show. And this is kind of a more classic westerly surge. I'm expecting it to be on the higher end of things. So there's going to be potential for gusts 55, even 60 miles per hour as well. Isolate the sky power outage is possible for Whidbey Island, Fidelio Island, Camino Island as well. A lot weaker winds for south would be, though, as these westerly winds may have a hard time reaching all the way down there, but some models do show it. Winds also die down pretty considerably by midnight on this model as well. This is also looking at sustained wind speeds in miles per hour. I wanted to show you that there's going to be some very strong sustained winds. If you look at the max on this graphic down here, that's about 42 mile per hour sustained winds. Even gets up to 45 at the entrance to Admiralty Inlet. So very intense winds. There's going to be a potential for power outages with this as we go through tonight, unfortunately, and with these cold temperatures coming in. Here's the RGEM model. This is also related to the high resolution Canadian model. This is looking at, I mainly want to look at this for Vancouver snowfall amounts. This is in centimeters. Snowfall amounts. You can see heavy snowfalls in the mountains over the next couple days, even before the lowland. But look as this snowband sets up right over Vancouver. These are 20 the 40 centimeter snowfall totals along some of the foothills, even some of the lowlands as well, Langley, BC, all the way over to downtown Vancouver. So wherever this band of snow sets up is going to really hammer somebody. There's gonna be some very tough driving conditions likely on Monday as well. Work is probably gonna be canceled for most people wherever this snowband sets up, because it's gonna be almost impossible driving conditions if this snowband does set up. This is probably the worst case scenario, so it probably won't happen this bad. But this is some pretty. You can see this is over 100 centimeters of snow in some of these little the inlet right here. I forgot the name of it. I'm not a Vancouver weather forecaster, so I'm not as familiar with some of the areas and stuff. But you can see this inlet right here has up towards over 100 centimeters of snow potentially. It's kind of ridiculous, some of these model solutions. But heavy snow is possible Sunday evening into Monday morning for parts of the Vancouver area. Now looking at total snowfall and Kuchera ratio. Kuchera ratio basically puts in what the temperatures are going to be. Warmer temperatures will likely have lower snow ratios. So the typical is 10:1 ratio, which I can show you here in a second right here. This is 10:1 ratio. So basically if there were 1 inch of rain that fell, it would equal about 10 inches of snow. That's basically the basic snow ratio. But with the Kuchera snow ratio, it adds in temperatures and stuff. So colder temperatures, you're going to have higher ratios. So when it's 25 degrees Fahrenheit, you could have an inch of precipitation, and it could fall as potentially 13 and 15 inches of snow. So it would be fluffier snow, but if temperatures like 30, 33, 34 degrees above, and that's above freezing, you could get maybe 6:1 ratio of snow, which would be very heavy, wet, dense snow. So that's kind of the gist of it. Let me go back here. I played this out. This is just a one model solution for the snowfall. It still has almost a couple of feet of snow up there towards Abbotsford and closer to Langley, BC as well. But if we go through all the way through Wednesday morning, the European model this morning showed up to a potential of 5 inches of snow at SeaTac. It has this snow shadow right over Whidbey Island. This is because there might be a similar thing to what we get as rain shadows. It might happen with snow. I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm a snow lover, and I would love some more than 1 inch of snow on Whidbey Island. But some models show up towards a half a foot of snow. The GFS model, which I can show here in a minute, shows up towards a half a foot of snowfall with a heavy snow band right over parts of Island County and Skagit County later on Sunday evening. So there's very high uncertainty. I can't really specify exact snow totals for a lot of the area, but anywhere along Western Washington could get anywhere from 1 to 6 inches of snow along the Puget Sound area. Get towards the coast lines, the higher terrain, up towards Whatcom County, you can start approaching those half a foot to 1 foot snow totals, maybe even localized areas higher than that. Closer you are to the water in the Puget Sound, likely the less snow you're going to get. Southwest BC, also Vancouver Island's likely to get a potential for up 10, 15, 20 centimeters of snow as well, like places like Nanaimo, Victoria as well. So decent snow event. I'm not for the Puget Sound, Seattle, and Portland areas. I'm not expecting a big snow event, but if we also look down here, the European Mall has almost a half a foot of snowfall for parts of the Portland area as well. You guys are a little more uncertain down there, even more than the Puget Sound, but the European Mall has been showing a potential for a heavy snow band later. Let's see when this falls. This is falls about Tuesday evening and the Wednesday morning for the Portland area. The European Mall has been kind of hinting at a potential for a heavy snow band to set up over Portland during this time frame. So there is potential for that. Excuse me while I take a sip of water. Now, let's get... Some of you on social media might have seen this map. This is the national blend of models. This basically takes an average of a bunch of models and gives you a kind of an idealized solution. It's been kind of going crazy with the snowfall totals through next week. It's the GFS model has very high snow totals, which doesn't tend to be a very good model for looking at snow amounts around here because it's a very low resolution model. So some of the higher totals in the mountains will bleed in on the graphics into the lowlands, so it'll heighten the snow amounts than that would actually happen. So you don't be taking these maps for verbatim, even though this model should be a pretty reliable model. It's not really, because for the reasons I just specified. But this thing shows a foot of snow for all of Vancouver, shows over a foot of snow for Forks out on the coast. It shows a foot of snow way out in the ocean. It shows a couple inches for Portland, a couple 4 or 5 inches for Seattle, which isn't actually too far-fetched. The European Mall is showing that as well. But just don't be trusting this mall for verbatim. But also Eastern Washington will likely get a few inches of snowfall as well, including the Spokane area. And actually, I want to come over the European Mall. I didn't really specify Eastern Washington, Eastern Oregon. There's potential for up towards over a foot of snowfall for a lot of Eastern Oregon. There's going to be a heavy snow band associated with the atmospheric river moving to California that will likely, a lot of heavy precipitation will collide with that Arctic air. Unfortunately, it looks like there's to be a large snow shadow over the Columbia Basin of Eastern Washington, and maybe only a dusting to half an inch or an inch of snowfall is expected down there. Spokane has a potential for up towards a half a foot of snow potentially as well, so stay weather aware over there as well. Now looking at the National Blend of Malls daily max 2-meter temperature, I tend to notice that this mall does pretty well with temperatures at least, and so high temperatures are really going to go down over the next couple days. High temperatures will likely not even get above freezing for parts of Northwest Washington, Southwest British Columbia, in the ice box out east. As we go through the week, potential for multiple days at 5-6 days below 40 degrees for the west side, and this might be underdoing the cold as well. It's probably going to be colder than this even. And if we look at the minimum temperatures on this mall as well, we're going to have nights well below freezing all the way through next week, potential for 7+ days straight. The temperatures in the 20s and teens on the west side, even the potential for middle to low teens up towards Whatcom County, where those Fraser River Valley winds are going to really be gusting through the Fraser River Canyon as well. You can see single digits as well for Eastern Washington, Eastern Oregon for some areas, lots of teens for some of the Columbia Basin. You can see teens and 20s continue all the way through potentially Saturday to all the way through Friday, potentially, maybe even after that, as well as the European Mall has been hinting at. Now looking at a nice graphic from the National Weather Service of Seattle. Winter driving, focus on your safety, prevent a bad situation from getting worse. If you're involved in an accident, try to pull your vehicle off the road. Use hazard lights, flares, reflectors, or flashlight to warn other drivers. Stay off the road, dial 911. Avoid risky driving behavior. Always avoid risky behavior such as texting on phone calls, speeding, drug, alcohol use. These activities are always dangerous. And always wear your seatbelt as well. These are especially important during snowfall because it can create very slippery driving conditions, as well as most of you should know. Here's wintry precipitation Friday and Saturday for Eastern Washington. Moderate to heavy snow for the mountains on Friday, transitioning to snow showers on Saturday. Mix of freezing rain, snow, and rain Friday morning, transitioning to all rain in the afternoon. So that's talking about today. Potential for even some snowfall this morning. So but you guys might have woken up to some dusting down there as well. Difficult travel over mountain passes. Slick Friday morning which that has already happened. Now looking at the winter weather timeline, this is for the National Weather Service of Portland. Morning snow in the mountains, rain/snow mix in the lowlands, afternoon/evening snow showers in the mountains, rain showers in the lowlands. Sunday night, light snow showers in the mountains, potential for slight snow showers and mixed with rain at times for some of the Willamette Valley on Sunday night. Monday, light snow showers in the mountains and lowlands mixing with rain at times, especially Salem, Eugene, and south of Seaside. Afternoon/evening, light snow showers. Continuing all the way in the Monday night and Tuesday morning, but they also haven't highlighted the potential for some heavier snow later on Tuesday and the Wednesday as well for down there. Now taking a quick look at California, this is looking at total precipitation inches. This is over the next, let's go the 10-day, no, let's just go 1 week out. This is approaching almost 1.5 feet of precipitation for parts of the Sierra Nevada, up towards 6 to 10 inches on some of the coastal ranges as well. Even San Francisco getting multiple inches of rain. Even parts of LA and the San Gabriel Mountains and the coastal mountains down there also getting 1 inch to 2 inches of rain. Beneficial precipitation for a lot of this area. This, though, is getting a little too much for beneficial. This is starting to get into the hazardous territory. Fortunately, a lot of this will start falling as snowfall as we go through early to middle next week as that cold air starts moving even farther south. But potential for some mudslides, landslides, even some flooding concerns up there in the northern Sacramento Valley, as well in the northern Sierra Nevadas. So looking at the timeline, this is from the National Weather Service of Sacramento, California. Major impacts expected Tuesday with Wednesday. This is when the colder system will move through. Periods of moderate to heavy rainfall and snowfall. Snow levels lower around 4,000 to 5,000 feet. But there's going to be some very heavy rain over the next couple days through Monday, and then the snowfall will start really accumulating and measured in feet of snowfall in the mountains Tuesday/Wednesday. Now wrapping things up with the Climate Prediction Center graphics. 6 to 10 day outlook, February 6th through 10th, below average bullseye right on the Pacific Northwest, 80 to 98%. This is basically some of the highest color, deep blue colors you can see. There's also 90 to 100% purple color that was on this graphic a couple days ago. So very high confidence and very cold air over the next week or so. Near normal to slightly above normal precipitation for the western U.S., other than the extreme southwestern United States, as we get those systems into the area in that atmospheric river. 14-day temperature outlook, February 8th through the 14th. Potential for continued below average temperatures likely through this time period. Near normal to above average precipitation favored as well during this time frame. So this is going to be, I don't think this event this weekend, the early next week, is going to be the last snowfall potential of the year for the Pacific Northwest. So I'll keep you guys updated on this. I'll likely try to do another video tomorrow morning with even more details. We'll have more high resolution models going to the heavy snowfall potential Sunday night and the Monday morning. So we'll be able to look at that in higher resolution. So this is a pretty long video, a lot of details. I hope everybody found this enjoyable and informative. Stay safe out there, stay warm, and I'll talk to everybody in the next video.